WCLN 1170 Radio and Star Communications Channel 16 proudly present the We Should Know Show, an upbeat, informative look at people, places, and issues facing our community. This education-based analysis of issues will remain positive and informative. Now, here's your host, J.W. Simmons, as we consider closely what we should know.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. J.W. Simmons here. I'm your host. The name of the show is We Should Know. We're coming to you on Star Communications TV, Channel 16. Also simulcast on WCLN Radio. The subject today is the future, in case folks are out there listening. I'm going to kind of open this with the future is in front of you. Take advantage of it. And Bart Rice is with us. Bart is Director of Business and Industry at Sampson Community College. I also have Barney Grady. Barney, your title has just recently changed. You're now Dean of Applied Technologies. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's, sounds like a big move there to me, Bart. I don't know. We got to keep our eye on this guy.
So that means he's the expert now.
That's exactly right. And thank God we got him here today.
That's right.
I want to kind of open today with this idea that there's so much going on now in the world of education, particularly in the demand for trades and industry kinds of jobs. Let's talk about that from the sense of what you guys are seeing through your eyes, particularly in the areas of your expertise that you have oversight of. And Barney, I'll start with you and then I'll segue to Bart, but you have oversight of a lot of technical trades programs, and just to hit a few: HVAC, electrical, welding, ag science. I mean, it's unbelievable. I could sit here and just read for hours. Are we getting the message out to people of the need and demand for folks that can make things work with their hands?
Yeah. I think it's starting to improve, but I don't think we've gotten to the level where it's getting out there quite as much as it needs to be. I mean, we've got extreme shortages in all the trades. I mean, like, you call you a plumber right now, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. Or call you a HVAC guy. I mean, there's just, like I said, extreme shortages in all of them. And like some of the numbers, we've talked about, when you start seeing, like, as far as licensures, I mean, like with the electrical board, there's more in their 80s than there are in their 30s. And so, I mean, that's an issue, cause we know those guys in their 80s, they're probably not working much at all now. And, that next generation is kind of slowly coming through. But I think we're starting to see, when you look at enrollment growth in the trades programs and not just in our Sampson Community College, but I mean, across the state, you're starting to see more of a push to the trades. Because, we're addressing, for years and years and years, going back with you, JW, and the same at the age group when I was, there was such a push, go get your bachelor's degree, and now we're seeing these guys with these trades, whether it's just certification or on a 2-year degree in associate in applied science in any one of the trades, making more money than a lot of people with bachelor's degrees, and so I think people are starting to catch on to that. And again, when you're looking, the level of students we're getting, it's not just your bottom of the barrel type students. We're getting very high quality students that are entering these programs. And it's really, it's refreshing to see. And I hope to see it continue that. And like the students, if they really want to get a bachelor's degree, those options are still there. Most of our applied science programs have transfer options. So if their goal is to get a bachelor's degree, good. I mean, continue to pursue those goals, because they're, but like I said, but it's not necessarily a requirement to enter these trades, but it is definitely an option if that's what your end goal is, to get a advanced degree.
Bart, I want to segue to you with that, because I know you have the Small Business Center and you have industrial development programs and those kinds of things. Is there a niche there that folks are missing that is a great opportunity, that and how do we get that message to them? And also, one of the things that Barney just referred to is that they could still get that degree program and start right there.
I was really excited about it when it first came about, because, not all the colleges are doing it. It's called the One College, One Concept. So you can get a non-traditional continuing education student that comes predominantly at night just looking to get a short-term certificate. And he can do that now. And we actually have students, curriculum students and content students sitting in the same class. So they'll take 2 or 3 classes and be able to get a certificate. But at the local level, if they stay at Sampson, they can actually crosswalk over to curriculum and continue on and get their associate's degree in electrical, HVAC, welding, or what have you. So that it's just the opportunities for the student are just amazing to see. And this is just starting. We're still learning how to work together, but we're really trying to make it work because we both see that it benefits the community as a whole. And they don't have to go on and get their associates and things like that. They get their certificate, start work, come talk to me in a small business center, and possibly open their own business. So they can do that before their counterparts who went right out of high school to university. Before they graduate, they can already have their own business and be up and going with a license if they leverage it correctly.
It's some of the things I'm hearing too is, the reality, I guess, is you go and you get a 4-year degree or you get a master's degree. That doesn't assure you of a job. What we're talking about, if they connect with you, and we're going to put up on our screen so people know what your phone numbers are so they can contact you. But if they will connect with you, they've got a pathway to an automatic, in some cases, easy 6-digit incomes.
It's pretty close. Yep. It's pretty close. They're just that part of the industry is just hurting as a whole. So I've had people come and say, "I'm just looking for somebody who will show up and be willing to learn." And you're looking at pay $15, $16 an hour just to show up consistently and put forth some effort.
The dynamic that we're looking at, Barney, when I look at all the trade areas that you have under your tutelage there, under your supervision, the big ones including welding, HVAC, electrical, and you mentioned electrical a while ago, is the point of no return now? Are we at that point where we have such a huge demand in some of those areas, whether it's plumbing or any of the other areas you talked about, that we're going to have a lapse in the ability of people to find somebody to do things? Are we that far behind, or are we about to catch up? Or are you seeing students coming in saying, I'm going to pick up this trade and do it?
Yeah, I think we're getting to that point where the shortage is here. I hope we're not at, I hope we're near at the worst point, and we're going to start to see us climb out of that. But but like at this time, we talked about the number with the licensures and stuff, and it's just looking at enrollment, we're starting to see huge enrollment growth in all the trades programs. We mentioned them other trades, including the construction program. We're starting to see, more and more trending towards it. So I'm hoping we've reached that point, and we're going to start to climb out. But it's going to take a little while. It's not going to happen overnight. Those guys need to, as far as replacing these people that have been in the industry for 60 years, there's a lot of experience that'll be leaving the industry that, just graduating with, 1 year worth of college or 2 years worth of college on your belt was not going to replace 60 years. So, but hopefully, those will start to come in, work with, replace them. But like I said, even when you talk to the trades guys, trying to find somebody to come work with them that'll take them under their wing like an apprentice, they're still having trouble doing that because all of those licensures, some of the licensure boards have had to lessen their requirements to get your license because of I use like electrical. They've reduced the amount of hours they have to have, from what it was a handful of years ago, because to try to address some of these shortages. Right now, in the state of North Carolina, there's only 24 in the age range of 30 to 35 with their license. 24 across the entire state. We're lucky enough to have one of them. Hopefully, going to have 2 more joining that club that are working with us now. But it's definitely. We've reached a critical point. But I hope with all the efforts with the college and statewide, my future NC, we're trying to get 2 million credentialed people by 2030, and they're making a huge push statewide, and so it's not something just Sampson Community College is going to be able to solve alone, but you're starting to see this push statewide, and I hope we continue to see that effort because the need is there, and before we get to the point where there's absolutely no one to call when I have a plumbing issue or a HVAC issue, I hope, we're the state with the commitment we're putting, I hope we can start to see some return on that. And I think we're starting to see that. So
one of the things I think is important, Bart, is we're talking about these programs, but if a person goes into that field and they decide, well, this is what I'm going to do, it works for me, and I'm going to get my own truck, I'm going to start my own program. They've got you there that can sit down and look at the logistics and the analytics of it and connect these people to make sure that all the paperwork flows properly, and to look at, what everything from their taxes right on around, how it benefits.
That's it. We can do that from just the ground up. Take somebody with an idea and walk them through starting a business, an LLC, getting a truck, finding financing, that's not going to kill you on the back end. And just making sure that they've crossed all those T's and dotted those I's. They've got the hours. They've got the classes and things that they need. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Barney, if a student is in classes, don't those hours that they sit in class count towards the hours for their license?
Yeah, percentage of those do.
That's something I didn't know, and I think I try to use that as a selling point for the students coming in, that you're going to start building your hours as you take the trades classes.
Yep. So basically what you're doing is you're working them into a job that's not only going to be beneficial financially, but it's going to be long-term sustainable for them, their families, a year from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now even. And the demand is already there. I mean, it's not a question. It's there.
You don't have to go looking for it. That's for sure.
Yep. Wow.
And going back to the question you asked Bart too, like those that are wanting to start their own businesses and in the trades of all the type of employment that you could think of, this trade. I mean, that's probably one of the easier ones to start your own business from the ground up. And a lot of our students are taking advantage of entrepreneur classes that are counting as electives in their programs too. And we've got an entrepreneur certificate that they've started with the business program. And so we're working, across campus, where for years, I mean, just for instance, like, we've just in the past couple of years started working more closely with Con Ed. It was, you worked for years in Con Ed, and they were almost like two different sides of the house. And there was not enough overlap. It's good. You're starting to see some campus-wide collaboration, and I hope to see that continue as well. Because it's really, we need it, and the state of North Carolina needs it. Sampson Community College, Sampson County, we all need it.
We're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Stay with us. We're talking about something that can be a life-changing experience for you right here at your back door, Sampson Community College, looking at careers and opportunities in a major income area. We'll be back in a moment.
Just because something may work doesn't mean it's right for your business. Let Star Communications' knowledgeable consultants help you customize a hosted voice system that's right for you. Our dedicated experts work with you to understand your business needs and guide you at every step, from choosing and installing services to ongoing maintenance and support. Contact Star today.
Eastern North Carolina is a beautiful place where we gladly choose to call home. And we strive to provide the best communications services. STAR is committed to improving communications to all our service areas because we want to improve the communities where we not only work, but also live. STAR Communications. We are neighbors serving neighbors.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. J.W. Simmons here, your host and producer of a show called We Should Know. Our guests today are folks that can introduce you to a whole new world of jobs, of career, of planning. And then Bart Rice is Director of Business and Industry, and Barney Grady is the Dean of Applied Technologies right here at Sampson Community College. You guys represent 58 other community colleges in the state that is doing things similar to this. But what I've noticed is that in this area, the uniquenesses, and one of the big uniquenesses for this area, when I say this area, I'm talking multiple counties that are watching and they pick up this show either on radio or TV. The one tie that seems to be predominantly strong, and Barney, I think you alluded to this, is an agriculture piece. Somehow there's a connection. You know, we talked about just on break about building a house inside, and you know, and then you historically the college would turn around and sell that house. And now we're looking at that, but the things that you're doing is in the livestock industry and in the science industry, and Bart, with businesses that is coming forward. Do you see a lot of that tied to agriculture and so forth?
Yes, sir. There's a lot, just about everything here can be tied back to agriculture, servicing or helping or selling fertilizers, tractors, that kind of thing. So a lot of it does. It all ties back.
And I think that's the financial dynamic. You were mentioning a while ago, again, on break, we were talking about how things develop and the why, and understanding why you do certain things rather than you were just told to do it and say that's the way we do it.
Right. Yeah, like we were talking on the break, the different type of work I did, you know, whether it was building livestock facilities, hog house, chicken houses, building houses, working on commercial projects. Before I was in school and stuff, you know, you were doing it because he said do it. You know, like if I was using 2x10 floor joist here, I'd use 2x10 floor joists because the plan said it or my boss said do it. You didn't understand the why. And that's where, like, going back to school or getting into the trades programs, you know, you're going, whether, let's say it's electrician, they're going to go through the NEC code book, and they're going to learn, instead of just, my supervisor says pull 12-2 wire from here to here. Mm-hmm. I'm going to understand why am I pulling 12-2 wire. And it's just a whole different dynamic. There's nothing wrong with somebody just entering straight into the workforce if that's what they want to do. But when you come in with the educational background, you understand a little bit more of the theory and the why. I mean, because, you know, when you take an intro to electricity, you know, I know enough electrical to be dangerous. You know, mm-hmm. I've learned it working with my father and different things. But when you start talking about the understanding all the why and how, that's what, you know, same the refrigeration cycles, when you're, you know, that's just something learned talking with our HVAC instructor, which is excellent. I mean, but, you know, he just can break it down, you know, how that refrigeration cycle works. You know, when they're working and they go work to learn to be a technician and they do it straight on the job, they're not necessarily, and it's not a knock on employers. I mean, they've got a job to do and they're just, you know, we've got to get them trained and get them working. But when they've come through a program, they understand, for instance, that refrigeration cycle and how it works, and not just hooking up a set of gauges and it looks like I need L or Freon. Mm-hmm. They can understand the process a little bit more. And so I think at the end, you'll have a higher level, higher quality employee, you know, that will not require as much training as somebody just straight off the streets.
Well, Bart, when you're looking at some of these folks that come in to see you, or they are referred to you, that are business, they want to get into business. They maybe have gone through a program at the college. Then they end up in your office and they're saying, you know, I'm trying to put something together, but I've got to look at maybe getting the equipment, because some of the equipment that is needed to do these jobs can get very expensive too. How do you advise them? How do you work with them in understanding that it's not instantaneous? You know, we're in a world that we want everything right now. How do you get them through that process of understanding?
It takes time, and that's where the one-on-one counseling comes through. A lot of times when we start the process with somebody, I'll let them know this is going to take 6 months to a year to really just take it step by step, because if you rush it, you might miss something and you'll end up losing what you have. Mm-hmm. But two, with me, it's having those partnerships and collaborations around the state with people who know. I've got a lady that I work with all the time, and she's a finance guru. So if somebody comes in and needs financing, I send them, set up a session with her to be a guest counselor for me, and she knows who can qualify what you're what you're bringing to the table, what you qualify for. Is it going to be like a package of different types of loans and grants to get you to where you want to be? And that takes time. But just having those partnerships and be able to assist people to make their dream happen is what it's all about in the Small Business Center.
We talked about also, Barney, this whole kind of societal thing and the population that you deal with. You've had a huge increase in the Latino community, not only in your programs, but looking at possibilities and opportunities, I guess, for both of you.
Yeah, they're, like statewide, we've seen an increase, but in Sampson Community College, we were named the first Hispanic Serving Institute in the whole state of North Carolina. There's several that have been added to that list now, but that means, more than 30% of your enrollment is, Latino. And right now, we're around 32% in the curriculum programs. But when I look at some of our trades programs, you're looking, I would just say like the construction program that I've worked in the majority of my career. I mean, it's around 75% or more Hispanic. When you look at the, other trades programs, they're more than half Hispanic. And so it's, we have seen a big push, and we're doing different trainings, working with Con Ed. We've got, teaching, electrical currently strictly in Spanish, because we're addressing those needs. I had the opportunity to participate in a 1.5 year long program with NC Go Global, and it ended with a trip where we spent 8 days traveling Mexico, learning the schools, different manufacturing facilities, universities, and technical schools down there, and it just kind of gave you a little bit broader. It was kind of designed to, for us to have a better understanding of the culture, because with anything, I mean, when you start dealing with different cultures, understanding the why, and it was very eye-opening, and one of the better professional things, more rewarding professional things I was ever a part of. And as part of that, we've got 4 Eastern North Carolina community colleges that are working together as a program called Train East, and that includes Sampson, Lenore, Wayne, and James Brunt. And in that consortium, we're throwing out their ideas, and all 4 of the presidents are working very closely together, and all 4 campuses have their own committees and doing different things, deciding, what works for our community college. And it's more of a partnership than like where sometimes when you start in the community college, it gets, you think of it as being almost like competitors, but it's been very rewarding to see these 4 colleges working together. And when you really dig down deep, all 58 community colleges, we've all got the same goals in mind. And so whether it's at a conference or just a meeting, how much sharing goes on, and it's been good, and I hope we continue to see more doors open with programs like that. But again, the Latino community is very important to Sampson Community College. It's important, and we've put a lot of emphasis in to it. We've got this Promesa program where they can come in if they've graduated from one of Sampson County high schools. They can come in and, with tuition assistance, some of them even free. And so there's a lot of opportunities. And, so we're proud for what we're doing. We've seen continued growth, in the community. And when we look at the numbers, in our local high schools, I think that will continue to trend upward.
One of the things, Bart, that you mentioned, and we've talked about before, is this idea that there is an opportunity. It's not always academic achievement. It's the way you lay out your life and what your expectation is. And what you do is look at folks individually, and maybe part of it is psychological. We've been brought up to believe this academic achievement is the panacea. I get through 4 years, and then maybe I go to a master's program, and I've got a degree. But that's not necessarily assuring us of anything, is it?
No, everybody's an individual. I've got 3 children. My oldest and youngest, school comes easy to. My middle son, he has a hard time. I can see he enjoys outside. He enjoys working with his hands. He solves problems. But I am in the position where I can push him in that direction and show him what's available and the opportunities he has with that kind of thing, where a lot of families, they don't know, and it's not offered up, as an option, outside of college. So I like to try to take that, especially when I go speak at high schools and things like that. I try to let them know what's available to them, even just starting out on the Con Ed side and working your way up through the curriculum side and on from wherever you want to go. Those opportunities are there. Now we use a lot too, going back to the Hispanic community. Barney made mention about the electrical class that we have. It's all in Spanish. The instructor came from Ecuador. He was an electrical engineer in Ecuador, but it didn't transfer to the United States. He's brilliant. He really knows his stuff. So you have that kind of thing. I've got so many applications coming through like the ESL program because they spread it through the basic skills or the CCR program. I've got 40 applications. So basically I can fill classes for the next 3 semesters with what I have on hand now. And they come every day. I get another application every day for the Spanish electrical class.
The demand is there, guys. And it sounds like as we look at not only what y'all are doing, but look at what the offerings are. And Barney, I'm so glad you mentioned the collaborative between community college. This is a regional thing. So when we come back from this break, I'd like to kind of dig into some of those course offerings and programs and just give people a feel for how that works from the opening of the door to actually getting into the program, and I guess, for lack of a better way to say it, how easy it is to transition your life to a future that you cannot imagine is happening. So I think that's where we're going to, if it's good with you guys, that's where we're going when we come back. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're going to actually dig into this a little bit deeper and hopefully give you some ideas that you might decide to walk through one of these doors and change your entire life. We'll be back in a moment.
For the ultimate Wi-Fi experience, you need Whole Home Wi-Fi from Star Communications. Star's Whole Home Wi-Fi provides ultimate coverage, ultimate performance, and ultimate power all the time. Star's Whole Home Wi-Fi systems feature the latest Wi-Fi 6 technology and are equipped with unrivaled bandwidth and 4 times more simultaneous connections. So you can connect tons of devices throughout your home with no lag and no downtime. Plus, with 24/7 support and remote troubleshooting, you can rest assured that Star is always there to help you should any issues arise. Star's Whole Home Wi-Fi also comes with the Command IQ mobile app, putting you in control of your home network and making it easy to set up and connect devices, run network speed tests, pause Wi-Fi, and set parental controls all from the palm of your hand. It's the ultimate Wi-Fi experience. Contact Star today to get started.
Let's get out of here.
Protect what matters most in your life with security from Star Communications.
If you're looking to start a small business or wanting to grow your existing business, the Sampson Community College Small Business Center is here to help. They can provide you with community and statewide resources to help you reach your goal. They also provide education and training, counseling services, and networking events. Best of all, these services are free. Let the Small Business Center help you turn your dreams into a reality. Contact the Small Business Center today.
Welcome back, folks. We Should Know is on there. J.W. Simmons here, your host. We're talking about opportunity today, and we're talking with 2 folks that know a bit about that. We're talking with Bart Rice, who is Director of Business and Industry at Sampson Community College, and also Barney Grady, who is the Dean of Applied Sciences. Guys, we've covered quite a bit of ground here on the show today. We're kind of at that halfway point. The rest of the show, one of the things that I wanted to do so much, and I'm just going to kind of lay it out like this. We have an opportunity today, in this conversation, to try to relay to folks that they have a great potential of accomplishing something in life that they can enjoy, they feel invested in, they feel empowered by, and they can find a great financial future for their lives moving forward if they knock on your door or your door. And those doors are open. We're going to post your phone numbers. We're going to put all this on the screen for them. But today's program, probably as much as any program I've done, can be a life-changing experience for people. And I just want folks that are listening or watching the show to stop for a moment and listen, because we're going to talk about things now that's somewhat focused towards some of the programs, Barney, that you have oversight and Bart, that you have guidance with to help people through. The world has changed from what it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. Opportunities now are more fluid. They're easier to get to. And you have a dashboard out there that you can introduce people to that they may look at and have never thought about that for their future. But today they're going to hear some of them here. So I want to start with you, Barney, and some of the applied technology programs. One of them you mentioned a while ago is this whole world of agribusiness and the world of business as it relates to agriculture in the area. And I want to kind of go down the list to some degree and just touch on some of these programs that include HVAC, that include welding, and just kind of give us a taste for that. At the same time, Bart, I want you to kind of add value to this, because there's got to be a structure to it. If you're going to be successful, you have to understand there's certain things as the old saying goes, we used to call it jumping through the hoops.
Yeah,
so
check the boxes.
There you check the boxes. So I'm going to start with you, Barney. Let's talk about ag technology, ag business, things related to that. And a lot of these programs relate to that. So I figured I'd start with that.
Yep. Well, we're in Sampson County. Sampson County is still king. I mean, we're in a very rural area. Most anything we got ties, even down to some of our, plants and stuff, all tied to agriculture. And when you start looking at some of the exciting things, like, because with our programs, we talked about, there's transfer opportunities and this, that, and the other. And when you're, some of the exciting things taking place in agriculture worldwide, I mean, when you get into not just Sampson County, but when you're looking up, at ag engineering, I mean, some of the things I've gone to, and, we're, taking, waste, turning into energy. We're taking, something like sunflower seed, or sunflower leaves, and turn into, rubber because of there's shortage of rubber, and so again, just two little small examples of things, ag engineering and agriculture, it goes far beyond just raising the livestock. And so when people, if you've got a interest in science in general, some of the different type of opportunities you get, agriculture, there's so many, opportunities there, and it's one of those things. There's several of the trades that we're not going to do without, and agriculture is never going to go away because we've got less people feeding more people every day, and so you're going to continue to see growth in agriculture, and whatever area it goes into, you're going to see continued growth in that, and so it's another great opportunity for students. And we've got a good ag program. We've had a good ag program for years. We get a lot of students that come through it that either graduate and go straight into work, or we got quite a few that'll graduate looking at opportunities to pursue advanced degrees and stuff. So a lot of good opportunities in agriculture.
And a lot of this, Bart, that we talk about is both men and women are open. This is open to women as well. Sometimes we look at it and go, well, construction or some of these ag jobs is but not the case.
No, it's both. Both women and men are both coming out. And then it's in the name Sampson Community College. It's the community. Our doors are always open. And I'm going to toot Barney's team's horn here. One of the biggest selling points for me to bring somebody into the program, if they come in and say, I'm thinking about electrical, I'm thinking about HVAC, but I'm not really sure, I walk them down the hall to the thing. You should see the trainers that they have built now. Like of an electrical, if you want a residential, each student has got their own trainer, and it has everything that you would ever deal with wiring a house. Everything. And the same thing with commercial. It's all metal studs and everything. they're like, their eyes are like, wow, I never would have even thought about being able to learn on something like this. It's exactly what you would say. HVAC, they've got, I mean, we've got so many things in areas, they've actually had to put things on wheels. So for when the class time comes in, it rolls out and the same, but just, it's invaluable for the community to come out and just take a look.
Yeah.
I mean, look, don't be afraid to come and call and come out and take the talk. We walk you around and let you see. If it sparks your interest, come on, sign up for a class.
And it's one of those environments that when you take somebody in, as you said, they don't have, or they shouldn't have a sense of, well, I'm not sure what I'm getting into, and I don't know whether these guys understand me. This is not that kind of thing. This is an opportunity to help you both psychologically and ability-wise to understand that if this is something that flips your switch, so to speak, you can take them to another step and let them put their hands on it and see what they think about it. And just kind of march through some of those things. One of the things that struck me too, Bart, that you mentioned earlier on, is that they could start out with like a certificate program in continuing ed. And now it's easy to segue over, whereas used to, you couldn't hardly cross that turf, but now completely different.
And it's kind of localized. If you stay at Sampson, they can take the certificate classes and say, hey, I want to go on further. I want to get my associate. And they can go see Barney or one of the advisors, and they check off their credit in what's called crosswalk. And they can crosswalk from continuing education over to curriculum and finish out their degree.
Barney, we're talking unbelievable amount of money that can be saved here. I mean, if you go off to college today, I mean, not so much unlike like it used to be a long time ago, same thing. But now we're looking at $40,000, $50,000 a year just to go to a traditional setting and get a 2-year, 4-year degree. Not so where we're at here.
Yeah, with grant programs, different scholarship opportunities, the majority of our students are going for free or very low cost. So it is very, and like I said, the careers we're putting them in, they're high demand, high paying careers. So when you take that into account, like they don't leave with huge student loans, and they're immediately entering into high-paying careers. I mean, I think about some that, went to school, finished their bachelor's degree, and then it's kind of like now they're looking jobs, and where the majority of our students, we've got them coming, knocking on the door at career fairs, and they're hiring them. We're not able to supply it's like, if they hired every student we have, they're still, they need that many more again. So it's a cycle that'll continue on for quite a while. Yeah.
One of the things that strikes me is this difference between a degree and a certification. A certification is something that's a credential. A degree is a collective of courses taken to accomplish a certain academic degree. But that certification, Bart, is powerful.
It is. And I kind of try to let them know by saying, the certification is going to give you the knowledge to get started. So, it's just a handful of classes that you can take, but it's going to give you that knowledge, and you're going to know kind of what you need to be doing when you get to that job site and start working. I was talking to the EMS people today because I was kind of trying to figure out, the crosswalk situation. I hadn't had a student do it yet, and they were telling me about it. So actually, when they go over to curriculum, they have less than 14 credit hours left before they can get their degree. So all those classes that they're taking add up. So you're cutting tremendous time off if you ever decide to move on.
The opportunity is magnified. I mean, you guys see it every day, but what we're talking about today and what's going through those camera lens and hopefully the audio part of this show today, people are hearing that there's a door that I could open that maybe I have not opened. And we're just asking them today to, if nothing else, peek through that door, crack it, call, sit down, just take a quick look. You pointed out, Bart, that idea of you can take them down the hall and show them. I mean, right there on campus, you can literally show them, here's what we're talking about. Put your hands on it. Ask a question.
A lot of times, if a class is going on, we'll kind of hang back and let them just look and see what they're doing. This is what you're going to be doing. and the house that you have back there, just open the door and they're like, what? They can't believe it.
Yeah.
So it's a big selling point, and not all colleges have the trainers and things like that.
Do you have a challenge with space? I mean, is these classes filling up fast, or what are we looking at?
Yeah, space is becoming an issue. Majority of these programs are at max capacity. I mean, normally the first few days of registration, a lot of these classes are filling up. So, which is a good problem to have, but it's also something we're trying to address, and we're doing some creative scheduling to try to address and, locate, adjunct instructors as needed to cover possibly some evening classes to kind of do it. But yeah, space is definitely an issue, but it is something we're working on, and we're able to satisfy most students that come in the door. We're able to find somewhere for them. So it's, but again, it's a good problem to have, but it is something we're trying to work at. And anytime we look, we're always looking at grant opportunities and stuff to be able to, expand our facilities. I've got a very passionate group of instructors that work. I mean, I'm part of a little group text with all and they're just constantly the texts that are going through. It's not just sending a bunch of jokes and memes. These guys, they live and breathe and love what they do. And education, I've told people for years, I've always thought I had the best job in the world. I love construction. And so it was just something I love working with my hands and doing different things. But when you slide to the educational world, I'm still getting to work with my hands some. But when you see the life-changing stuff that is happening, a student that come in my door 2 years later, they've left with their degree. Some of them 2 years later finished their bachelor's degree, or either 2 years later they're running their own business. I mean, and you were just a small part of that. And if it doesn't make you a little warm and fuzzy, you're probably in the wrong business. I mean, I think education is definitely a calling, and it's one of the things. I love my job. I think anybody that's ever met me that walks in the doors of Sampson Community College will say, I've lived and breathed those programs for past almost 19 years, and it's it's been great.
Well, it's obviously both you guys, your heart's in it. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna kind of wrap the show up today and really bring home that message that hopefully will give everybody out there the warm and fuzzies as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment. We're talking about your life, your future, and how you can establish it right here at Sampson Community College.
Providing fewer commutes, more backyard offices, and crystal clear meetings. Providing less, you froze up, and more presence in your presentations. Providing a better internet experience. Providing possible.
You're out for an evening on the town. Finally a chance to relax and forget that you left your front door completely unlocked. Fortunately, you just installed a security system from Star Communications. With just your cell phone, you can check on your house, lock it down, light it up, and get back to relaxing.
You forgot to put Buster in his crate.
Unfortunately, we can't help with that. Security and automation from Star Communications. Call today to find out more.
Train for a career in construction trades. At Sampson Community College, you can earn a degree or certification in construction, electrical, heating and air conditioning, welding, as well as other construction trades. Jobs in these fields are in high demand and pay competitive wages. Stop by the college or visit our website for more information.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We're coming up on the last part of the show today. Thank you for being with us. We're talking with Bart Rice, who's Director of Business and Industry at Sampson Community College, and Barney Grady is Dean of Applied Technologies. When we come back, I just had this when we were talking on break strike me. And what we're really talking about here today is a way people can sample their future. And by sampling their future, they can talk to you guys. You can introduce them to a broad array of possibilities for future endeavor in jobs that probably they cannot imagine now. But they've got to dial the number. They've got to call you and say, when can I come out? When can I take a look at this? I'm thinking about my future. And it's never too early. You might be a junior or a senior in high school. It's never too early to start thinking about that. But you can literally, as you pointed out on break as we were talking, Barney, they can sample something, even sign up for a course. And if they don't like welding, guess what? They can say, well, this is not for me. I think I'm going to try something else.
Yep. We have students all the time do that. I mean, most of the students that pick welding, they probably wind up sticking with it. But you got a percentage of students that are in that little phase, or they've reached this little crossroads in their life and they're trying to decide, what do I want to do? And so, they'll take that one welding class and then, hey, it's maybe not for me. And one of the beauties of a lot of our programs is those classes are normally electives in another program. And so if they switched from welding to HVAC, most likely that welding class will still count it towards an elective, towards another degree, certificate, or diploma. And so, those you won't. We talked about before the show even started. You won't. If you've got a passion for something, the success will follow. So if you start into something, it's just not there.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that, and without wasting a lot of time or any time at all, you could shift gears and go into something else, or decide this is the path I want to stay in. So we have students, all different programs, that will do that. Some that'll double major. Now, I mean, you take electrical and heating and air, they work so closely together. We have quite a few students that will attempt to double major, or maybe get an associate in one, a diploma in another, or two associate in applied science degrees. So it's there's a lot of opportunities out there for them.
Bart, from the business point of view, I was reminded a while back that sometimes you can go to the coast in different places, and if they don't think what we're talking about is important, you can see some of those multi-million-dollar fishing boats and so forth, and yachts down there that's got the company name on the back.
Yeah.
And that's where the huge dollars are, is people that start understanding what you are putting forward and apply it early on in life, and they get to a certain point, 30s or 40s, they've got a huge financial gain that they've been building on that they enjoy doing.
You get out of it what you put into it. And we talked about that. A lot of people, when they start a business, they don't realize you eat, sleep, and breathe that business. It's with you all the time. And if you just kind of are in it halfway, that's where it's going to go. It's going to go halfway. But if you are in it and you're really trying to innovate and trying to move yourself forward, you're really going to do something big.
And there's several programs that strikes me. One of the newer programs you guys have got out there now is this heavy equipment operator program. And I'm assuming that's everything from land graders to bulldozers to all those heavy equipment kind of thing. That's something that apparently there's a shortage in of qualified operators.
Absolutely. And, it was an area of high demand, but it's also, it's a pretty costly program to run too. So that's why you don't see it at every community college. And so we're fortunate that we have support for the trades coming down from our board of trustees to our administration on down. And so when we pitch ideas, as when that idea was pitched, you provide the data. It's been pretty easy for us to get people on board, and a lot of times we find some grant opportunities for a lot of these programs to get them started, because again, even with the when we get into the HVAC, Bart was talking earlier about walking them through and looking at our facilities. I mean, that stuff is not free, and but we've got a passionate group of dreamers I use with my instructors, and they're just thinking of ways to improve their programs all the time. And when you take the HVAC and electrical programs are only, I think we've gone through 3 years. We're going into our 4th. And when you think of where they've came in 4 years, again, that was just an impressive group of individuals with the backing of our administration. And so I hope, this is a long-term, we continue that long-term commitment to these programs, because it is such need, and like I said, the heavy equipment is just another one of those. It's just,
just to have the site to be able to provide that, you've got that huge site over there where you've got truck driving, you've got heavy equipment out there, just getting ready to start a fire academy out there. So you're going to have 3 big programs. Actually, the police, sheriff's department, city police, they do their driving school out there. That driving field, it's just as good as the highway patrol have in Raleigh. So you've got that. And then I've got people, I try to go with the business part of it to truck driving. I'm going to go. I haven't been out to heavy equipment yet, but just to talk to the guys about starting their own business with that, because many moons ago, I was in the golf business and I saw heavy equipment operators made a killing and they didn't own any equipment. So I would say, hey, I've got 4 holes I need to be roughed out. When can you be here? Well, I'll be there Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, and this is when I'm going to need you to rent me. They call that off, and they come in, do the work, get in their truck, and they go somewhere else. Wow. Those guys, with the knowledge that they take, they didn't have to have equipment on hand because you can rent it, and they made a killing.
Yeah. And like timber harvesters and those kinds of things. That's a big part of agriculture is timber. And they have some huge equipment that they have to understand how to operate. And a lot of times people are just not there that knows how to do it.
That's right.
So when we look at where we are and think about the dynamic of this, and we're talking to folks, and hopefully folks are listening, this opportunity is something that's going to continue to expand at Sampson Community College. As you pointed out, as technology advances, so will the program. And the areas of technology now are driving things, as you know. Computer technology, interconnections with everything is on the computer now. Folks that are doing business and delivering stuff to the doors, DoorDash and all these kinds of things. Businesses are depending on all this new age stuff. The currency, are we able to maintain current trends and look at trends for business? Is that something that you have to look at oftentimes, Bart?
Oh, yeah. I see it all the time, especially with Durwood's programs. He is on top of it. We have this, he'll look at what they actually run in the industry, and then we order the same thing. So everything that we have is current, just like they have in the industry. So their employees are being trained by us on what they have. So it's invaluable, and we're able to stay up with that trend. So
one of the big things here in rural areas, particularly in this portion of the state in southeastern North Carolina, surrounding counties, is bringing industry into rural areas. Do you see this as a huge drawing card for industry to consider locating in these rural areas because they've got the foundation of education and training right there at a community college?
It's definitely a piece. To me, it's one of the biggest pieces to be able to have the place where you can send your employees to get trained, especially with customized training we do on the back end for industry. So OSHA, basic safety, forklift driving, those things that you're going to need your employees to be certified in. We have that here. Of course, we have, being a rural county, we have a little problem with infrastructure and things like that to draw. But the education part, in my mind, it's top notch here.
Barney, looking at some of the programs that you offer, and there's just too many to go over them all today. What's 2 or 3 of them you'd like to mention before we have to shut down our conversation? I don't want to leave anything out. If there's 2 or 3 you really need to mention that maybe you would like folks to consider.
Yeah, and again, it is a long list. Because my programs range from cosmetology on into the hands-on trade. So there's a lot, and all of them. I hate to leave any of them out, but I know the show's too short to talk about every one of them. But again, we talked earlier about agriculture. We know that's big. The HVAC and electrical are 2 of the newer programs we have. Again, we can look at the numbers. We know they're high demand. Anybody that has to pick up the phone and start calling, to try to locate one of these, individuals to do work for them, normally you're going to have to wait. And so when those programs, when you come look at the programs and the investment that they put time investment, financial investment, and see what we've put into it. They can tell you about what some of the students are already doing. Even though the programs are relatively new, we have quite a few success stories already. Construction's been around. I've been here 19 years. I started the program in 2005. It's now under the leadership of Carla Collin. I still teach some of the classes. That's one of the, even though being a dean, I was one of the things I wanted to stay in the classroom because I told you earlier, I enjoy that part of my work. It's almost my release in a sense to be able to grab my textbook and walk to the classroom. So But when you start talking, I mean, you really can't go wrong with any of your programs. You know, welding's been successful for as long as the college has been in place. But the construction, HVAC, and electrical, we're putting a lot of emphasis on those programs at the time because they are a little bit newer, but we're seeing a good return on those as well.
That's the dynamic, I think, Bart, that we're seeing happening now across the board is that variety, that smorgasbord of things that we can look at. And young folks, we're talking 18 years of age, give or take, are looking at what I really want to do. The answer is sitting right in front of me here today, and they're hearing from you guys. So I want to just take this opportunity to thank you for taking time to come in and sit down and talk to us. And any time that something comes up, we can help push a message out. We're more than happy to do that. I think what we've hoped to do today, and we're going to go to a quick closure here, but we hope today to give people some new ideas and new possibilities. So again, thank you for being here, and thank you for being with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for being here today, and we hope that we have helped you possibly find your passion. And if you'll call one of these guys, they can help walk you through the program. Stay with us. We look forward to seeing you again next week, and may God bless.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of We Should Know with host J.W. Simmons. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion regarding this or any episode, please send your emails to weshouldknowedu@gmail.com. And remember to tune in every Tuesday at 2:30 for another informative episode of We Should Know.